Jonathan.
And I'm Melissa. Today we are going to make a sushi baked casserole. This will feed our family of 5, but this recipe can easily be catered to minimize the quantity or enlarge the quantity pending your family size. So Jonathan here will tell you what products you'll need in the kitchen.
First, you'll need a bowl, and then a
casserole
dish, and then a peeler, a sharp knife, and a cutting board.
Okay, so those are the materials that you'll need in your kitchen. So if you don't have that in your kitchen already, you may need to go out to the store to buy those products. For the actual recipe, these are the things that you'll need: sesame oil, furukake, mayo. We've almost run out, but we'll have enough for this recipe. Japanese mayo, sriracha, Philadelphia cream cheese, fish roe. I went and bought the red kind. Whatever your preference is, you can pick out of the colors that they have. I have 1 fresh cucumber, imitation crab meat. I've got sashimi salmon, and lastly fresh tuna. So this recipe can be catered to whatever seafood you'd like, whether you want to do a different type of fish or a different quality of fish. You don't necessarily need imitation crab, but it is a very cheap option and very filling. So I really highly suggest picking your choice of fish plus the imitation crab. Stay tuned. If you like fresh cucumber for your sushi bake, you can get 1 large cucumber, wash, peel, and cut them in thin slices like this. So we are going to go ahead and now tell you how to put the ingredients together in your mixing bowl. I went ahead and softened all the cream cheese. If you just bought cream cheese and it is still cold, it's best to leave it out so it can get to room temperature. But to speed up that process, you can put it in the microwave for about a minute or a minute and a half so it softens just like this. So I softened it and started mixing it. In the meantime, also, I pre-cut the cucumber into small bite-sized pieces. These are more of a topping. Think of when you go out to go eat pho or any other type of Asian type foods. There's always herbs or type of vegetables to top off your food, and these are more of a topping to eat with the sushi wrap. So I'm going to put that off to the side. So when you take your mixing bowl, I'm going to put the casserole dish away as well. You don't need that yet. I'm going to go ahead and open up the imitation crab. Jonathan can go ahead and help me over here. You can help me dump it.
Hello.
So go ahead and dump, maybe here, use your hand over here. Or grab a spoon. Let's grab a spoon. Yeah, please. Grab a spoon. We're going to go ahead and put the contents of the imitation crab into the mixing bowl. Go ahead and put it in there. Put maybe half so we can see how much is left that we need. So go ahead and put half. Yep, keep going. There. Okay, we're going to see how much else or how much we have left over. And next you can chop up your salmon and your tuna. Some people, you can process it in a processor so it gets mushy, or you can just cut it in small pieces, maybe about the size of your thumb or so. I will show you in the next clip.
Stay tuned.
So to cut the tuna in bite-sized pieces, I cut against the grain. And once I cut against the grain, it falls apart into these bite-sized pieces, as you can see. But to further separate them from the cartilage or whatever that's attaching the fish, I'm going to do a rough chop as if you were to chop up garlic or onions. So this salmon that I bought from the Asian market is called sashimi salmon. There were 2 different kinds, either a salmon fillet or the sashimi. I chose to do the sashimi because it's so much easier to cut, better quality, and it also tastes better. I mean, look how soft that is. So just like the tuna, how I chopped it, I don't really know how to chop it properly. It doesn't really matter since everything's going to be chopped up and baked into a casserole type way. So after I chop this, or slice it, I'm going to do a rough chop as I did with the tuna to create better, smaller pieces so it's easier to mix within the mayo and the Japanese mayo. So There you go. This is pretty of a bad chop. But what we need to do is just cut them all down. Hi, we're back. We just finished cooking our rice. This calls for about 2 cups of rice. This will definitely feed a family of 4 to 6. But if you have big eaters, what you can do is cook this casserole dish plus a side pan if needed. We did really cook 4 cups of rice, but I'm only utilizing for the casserole 2 cups. And what I just did was added a cap full of sesame oil. Right? You can add a little less if you don't like the taste. The oil or the sesame seed oil is not required. Another recommendation, which is optional, is what's called liquid smoke. I did this recipe before and accidentally grabbed this instead of sesame oil. So it was actually a good mistake because what it tasted like was smoked salmon. So I'm going to go ahead and drizzle this too. And Jonathan, go ahead and grab this spatula and you can mix the rice so the flavor gets around. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more liquid smoke just so that the flavor is more apparent.
It smells good.
Yep, and adds a little, maybe a cap and a half. All right. And then once he's done mixing that, we're going to smash it back down so it's flat. I'm going to mix it a little better, please. And what I forgot to mention is that you can add sriracha pending your flavor profile or your palate for spiciness. I'm going to add about a teaspoon. Because we have kids, it might get too hot. So I'm just putting about a teaspoon of sriracha. You can always add more or make a separate pan for parents if they like things spicier. Or if kids don't like spice at all, just leave sriracha out entirely. Another ingredient I forgot to mention was green onion. We just grabbed fresh green onion out of our garden. You don't need to put this in here. It's definitely optional. But I just grabbed about, let's say, 2 tablespoons worth of green onion. So it looks like this. You mix that as well. Next, after you flatten the rice at the bottom of your cooking dish, you put the sushi mixture on top of the rice and flatten like so. Once you've done so, you can sprinkle on some furukake on top to cover the sushi bake mixture and garnish it with green onions and cucumbers. So here is what our dish looks like. I added more furukake, green onion, then I topped off some cucumber on top. You don't really need to add any of those 3 things on top of the fish mixture. This is just an optional thing. I like to utilize all of our ingredients in the recipe, so it's just more of a mouthful to eat. And now once it's ready, you just put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 10 minutes or to your preference to the cooking of the fish. Since our family loves sushi and can eat raw fish just fine, we can do it just until it turns a little golden. Stay tuned. Show us how to eat it. You take a bite? How is it?